Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. How is everybody doing? Okay, yes, we know we're live. YouTube is playing in the background on my phone. That's the one thing I forgot to do before we got started was turn the volume down on my phone. You'd think I'd have that figured out by now. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? You know what? I need some more coffee. That's exactly what I need. Is some more coffee. How's everybody doing? Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk Football Roundtable. Season 5, episode 2. I know you noticed that there's like not as many people here as there normally are. We are normally a much more diverse group, but today we are less diverse. It is just this lovely young lady right here, my co-host Tina Winter. How are you doing, Tina?
I'm doing good, Handy. How are you? Besides cracking me up already.
You could have left the past tense off of that verb, and that would have perfectly described how I am right now. You know, take Inga off and put baby behind it. Tyrone Bigum's at your service. Anyway, how you? Let's see. We're doing all right, y'all. We're having a great time tonight. Strap in, folks. It's gonna be a good one. I've been up since 4 a.m. Anyway, welcome to Let's Talk Football, the round table. Our co-hosts Nick and Delilah are not with us this evening. They will be returning next week. Oh, me. My name is, it's on the bottom of the screen. I don't have to go through all of that. I got about 800 nicknames. Remember what I did with the steak and the potatoes? My, my phone is like halfway. My phone is like halfway across the room right now. Anyway, yeah. So you guys
You're
know.
throwing your phone around.
You
I
guys
got an
know the
orange thing
deal.
running around my legs, trying to get me to let pick them up. All right, what everything that's going on behind the scenes, honey? Thank God no one can see it.
Oh man, man, oh man, oh man. Oh wow. We are already off and running to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the show started because I don't know how long this caffeine high is gonna kick in. So let's go ahead and get started as always, as every game begins with a coin toss. That's not a coin, Tina.
No,
That's not a
no
coin.
technical difficulties, people.
No, no technical difficulties. I'm going to learn where each and every one of these things are before we're all said and done. Yeah, like what? Hey, that
Oh,
was the
that'll
coin.
work.
Was that a coin toss?
What?
What? Okay, so let's just
Might
go
be
ahead
why
and
we're
get
not allowed
right
to do
on.
this show on our own.
No, Sean's gonna be jumping in at any moment now. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Anyway, coin toss. Today's coin toss, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about a serious subject today for our coin toss because what's going on right now? My phone is just acting all kinds of. Well, I did throw it halfway across the room. Um, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today's coin toss, we're going to talk about a very serious topic. As you may all have seen, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, has suffered in his third season a third concussion. And right now he's working with neurologists and things of that nature. But we just kind of wanted to touch on the seriousness of that, the severity of that situation. So Tina, I'm gonna toss this over to you. What do you got here?
Um, 3, 3 in less than 2 years. I mean, the
Well,
man could be a,
this is his
or is it
fourth
3 years?
concussion. This is his fourth concussion in 5 years because he had one when he was in college.
Okay, that's
So he's
just
4 concussions in the span of 5 years.
they're
And
going to put him in bubble wrap and stick him in a bubble ball soon if they want him to play.
well, from all reports and everything that we've been able to see, everybody has been extremely supportive. The coaches come out and said, "Hey, look, this is not about when we can get him back on the field. This is not about the Dolphins. This is about Tua. He's been placed on the injured reserve list. But the thing that is alarming to me is that Tua has said that he has no plans to retire. He has come out and publicly said, "I got no plans to retire after this." Like, listen, folks. I don't know if anybody that is into his camp um, is going to see this podcast, but I think I can speak for just about everybody who has seen him go through what he has gone through during the course of his career. Say that somebody needs to get in his ear, somebody with a ton of influence on his life, and make him shut it down like yesterday,
Yeah.
because that just doesn't bode that doesn't bode well for his future. I mean, there's um if you I mean those of us that are football fans, we know, those of us that played football, we refer to concussions as getting your bell rung. But what happens with a concussion is your brain basically floats in that space up there in your skull, and it floats in fluid. Okay.
And it
And
rattles around your skull.
and when you get a concussion, your brain basically violently moves forward, backwards, side to side, whatever, wherever you get hit from, and bangs up against your skull, and does cause some degree of brain damage. The severity of the brain damage depends on the force of the concussion and the severity of the concussion. But over
Mhm.
time, a concussion can cause, it can severely affect your involuntary reflexes, your autonomic nervous system, which basically controls your breathing, your blood pressure, your kidneys, your heart rate, your liver. It can put you in a bad, bad way. And
Yeah.
so it's probably for the best, I think, if Tua would just shut it down. I mean, we can't tell him what to do. He's young and full of vinegar, and he's not even 30 years old yet, I don't think. So there's a lot to consider. But I'm doing all the talking. Tina, give me your thoughts.
Well, you're saying everything I agree with. Um, because it's 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 really difficult in this situation because you have a young guy who can do really well for this team and all of that, and he wants to play, but it's got to be his coaches, it's got to be the owners. They're the ones that have to completely shut him down and make sure that he is healthy and that he's not going out there trying to get back out on the field much sooner. And the thing about concussions is that your brain doesn't heal from them. So they're like soap or shampoo. Every one you get adds a little more to the issues you could have later in life. I mean, CTE is not some brand new idea that just came out like last year is a possibility. We've known it's been an issue for at least 10 or 15 years. And off the top of my head, I can name off at least 5 guys that had issues later in life with problems with CTE. I mean, Junior Seau and all the
He's
other
the
guys.
first, always the first one that comes to mind.
Well, the other one that doesn't get talked about a lot, and I think it might be true too, is Aaron Hernandez. I have a co-host, by the way. Everyone,
Hello, Chewy.
that's Chewy. It's easier to just let him walk across my desk than it is to fight him because he's a very large cat. So, but yeah, I think Aaron Hernandez might have had a few issues with that too, because the kind of concussions that you're getting, the ones that affect more of your frontal lobe, they're showing
Mhm.
that goes to more like dangerous types of behaviors and things like that, and your reasoning skills and your other skills kind of go away. So um, it's
Yeah,
here.
and it's
It's
really
Tuesday.
rough.
Here we go. Everybody meet Chewy. This is Chewy, my big 20-pound boy in my life. Okay, now he's back on the floor. He'll be happy.
Another case that
Yeah.
nobody has really talked about, but exhibited some of the same behaviors, like the erratic behavior and whatnot. And a lot of people just said, "Oh, this guy's just Yeah. But Orenthal, James Simpson,
Yeah,
OJ.
yeah.
I mean,
And I
OJ
mean,
took a lot
and
of
like
head licks
the
back in
league
the
has
day.
done a lot in the last couple of years, especially with the helmets. I mean, we all kind of made fun of them when they first came out, but now they have different helmets. Like quarterbacks, it's more in the back, and depending on where more of the force comes for that particular kind of player, that's where it's reinforced so that they don't have that much rattling around. But
Hmm.
4 concussions in 5 years is a lot.
Yeah,
And
it's a
like I said,
lot.
they got to bubble wrap him. I mean, it's going to be hard. But like I said, it's going to have to be coached. Mike McDonald's just going to have to like just literally strap him down and being like, no, you're not playing. I don't care. You are not playing. I
Well, like I said, he's on the IR, and that's uh that's what they got going on right now with him. So
yeah,
I said
yeah. I
Orenthal.
mean,
That's his name, Orenthal James Simpson.
I used to have a coworker whose daughter worked at Boston College at the medical center up at Boston College who studied this stuff. And it's amazing the number of football players, families, and a lot of sports people like boxers and things
Hmm.
like people that take a lot of hits to the head had sent their family members brains for study. And it's a serious thing. And if he does not take care of this, he I'll just say he could be a vegetable by the time he's 40 or 50, and he
If
won't be
he's
able
not
to do
careful,
anything because yeah, his brain could
and I mean,
literally shut down on him, like
and I'm
dementia,
yeah,
all those things.
yeah, you're 100% right. And I'm looking at this list of names, and it's four wide, and it's about 30, 25 to 30 deep, and that's about a list of 100 players that are that had CTE confirmed postmortem.
Right. And that's not even including some of the guys from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s
Oh
who
no, that's who I'm
probably
talking about.
also,
That's that. No,
yeah.
these are the guys we're talking about: Ken Stabler, Bubba Smith, Junior
Hmm.
Seau. You got some of these names. I'm trying to look and see if I can run across some of these older names. Colt Brennan, remember Colt Brennan, the gunslinger from the University of Hawaii, who kind of
Yeah.
traveled his way around the league.
Yeah.
Paul Hornig, and those are the guys that played in the leather helmets.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you
Jared
you
Harmon had a comment on here that taking care of it is retiring, period. That's true. That's exactly what I personally think he should retire. But like you said, he's 30 years old. He's full of piss and vinegar. He's gonna want to do it, and Miami is a good team, and he has a shot at probably living his dream as a quarterback growing up was to play in the Super Bowl.
Well,
So
if he
it's going
does
to be
not sit
really,
down, if he
yeah,
does not sit down, he will be living a nightmare. I mean, what he will put, his family will wind up having to take care of him for the remainder of his days.
right, yeah. Not exactly the same thing, but I always kind of go to this. There's a show on Netflix about Formula One. And the first season, one of the guys was in an accident and his car blew up. Like it blew up on fire. And he ended up walking out of it, kind of like a stuntman coming through like the flames and everything. He walks
Hmm.
out, not a stitch on him anywhere. And there's an interview with him and his wife. And he's talking about how he's retiring and he's not going to do this anymore. And somebody's like, "Oh, so are you really done? You're not going to do this anymore?" He's like, I don't know. I might go back." And the wife's head almost did a 360 uh Linda
The
Blaine,
Exorcist.
what? Like,
Did
what
she
do
spit
you
green
mean
tea
you're
soup?
not retiring? Yeah,
Right.
his
Right.
family's just gonna have to sit him down, and
Yeah.
but we'll see what happens from our
Yeah.
lips
We
to his
will.
ears and somebody else because he
Yes.
needs to take care of that. So
100%. And wishing him really wishing him all the best, hoping that he retires, but wishing him all the best. And this is the one that's right here. This is
Yep.
the one time the league should collude to stop him, pay him out, and stop him from playing. Period.
Hmm.
But I get it. There's a part
I
of me
mean,
that
I
gets
can
it.
look into it
That-
next week. I might look and see if there might be some kind of clause in the Players
yes,
Association bylaws or something.
yes,
So
by
I'll
all
look
means.
into it. Now, whether they would do that is another question. Yeah, and Sean's right. That is the hard part. It's the
Yeah,
love of the game and his dreams since he was a young boy and everything.
I'm
So
gonna speak to this though.
money isn't everything.
Money and fame and love from the fans isn't everything, because when you wind up having to have professional care, when you wind up at home and it's just you and your family 5, 10 years down the road, when you haven't been able to put on the jersey, when you can't hardly dress yourself, when you can't, I mean, like guys like Howie Long have talked about how he has to, Howie Long talked about a while back about how he had to take a concoction of pills every
Hmm.
morning just to be able to have the strength to get up out of bed to come to work on set. You understand?
Yeah.
After all of that, the where I mean the fan, here's what's gonna happen. It's the new age. He's gonna, there's the announcement's gonna come out that he passed away, and he's gonna get a bunch of thoughts and prayers, and the Dolphins are gonna do a tribute, and they're gonna hang his jersey or something like that. And then that's gonna be the end of it. Why not be
Hmm.
satisfied with the love of your family? He's already made more money than most of us are going to make in a lifetime. With some good investments and things like that, he'll be able to live a very, very comfortable life,
Yes.
unless, God forbid, all hell breaks loose. But he'll be able to live a very, very comfortable life. So why not? I mean, the one thing above all about being famous and playing in the NFL, every single one of us wanted to be rich. So he's already rich.
Yeah. Yeah. He
You're
wanted
rich, you're
to.
married, you got a family. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know,
It's a hard decision, and there's a lot of tough conversations that are going to happen about this. So,
yeah, yeah. So, and having said that, I think the best way to put a bow on that is to say again, Tua, I know you're not going to see this, but please, son, if you love yourself and you love your family, and I call him son because I'm old enough to have kids that age now. God, I feel old. You just sit down. If you ever had your granny tell you, but sit down somewhere, sit down, pull the plug, and get the best quality of life out of what you got left. Like I didn't even play nearly I didn't even play as long as he did. And I got bad hips and bad no, well, I got a bad hip and a bad knee, and my back acts up on me sometimes. So yeah,
mhm.
yeah. So having said that, we're going to move on to our next topic. We didn't mean to start off. Uh, we didn't mean to start off so yeah, so
Heavy,
grim, so
heavy and
heavy,
grim.
but it's just
Yep.
something that we felt that needed to be addressed, because it's still, with all the money, and I said this last year, year before, with all the money and all the technology and everything that's available, it's still happening. And the NFL is, yeah, cost of the game, but we're not gonna talk about that anymore. We're gonna move on. We started off on such a great note, and we were so high spirited. I hope I didn't kill the buzz. We're gonna move forward though. Our next topic today. Y'all saw the games on Sunday. Y'all saw the games on Thursday. You saw last night's game. There was a very surprising loss yesterday. Tina, did you know that was a big surprise loss yesterday?
Yeah, I did. I wondered if
I,
a few of the people that is even in our Let's Talk Football family, if they might have blown a gasket.
You know what? I don't even know. I was surprised. I was surprised. I'm not necessarily a fan of the team, but I know a lot of people that are fans of the team, and I was surprised. I don't know if anybody else knew that this happened though. But let me stop BS. And y'all know what happened. You saw it in 4K yourselves. Them boys, America's team. Yeah, yeah. They found out that them boys met the who that, and we them boys, who that, and they got who dadded. That's actually, is that grammatically correct? Is that, would
Who
that be
dat?
D? Yeah, would that be DAT apostrophe ED? So who
I
dadded?
don't
They
know
got
how they
who
spell
dadded,
it. They
like
just
like
say it, and I'm
like
just
past
used to
tense.
it.
Like past tense, they got who dadded by the Saints.
Who
That
dat?
sounds like what you. That's what sounds like something you do after dark with a reel and a rod down in the bayou. You go who dadding. You go down to the bayou. You go who dadding. You get you some crawfish for true my chef. That's exactly what happened. The Cowboys got who dadded. They all they could put up was 19 points on the board. Looked at the numbers.
They
Honestly,
got
it was
taken
a,
to the bayou and rolled.
yeah, they did, for sure, for sure. They did. They rolled them right in there, hit them, knock them upside the head, and roll them right on up in the bayou. At one point, Cooper Rush wound up coming in. Dak wound up throwing two interceptions. Dak, who looked exceptional in the season opener, still threw for 293 yards, but he had a couple of picks. Uh, I can somebody please tell me, Tina, why did they bring back Zeke?
I don't know. I can tell you, I'm happy that well, in fantasy, I've got Dowdle. I picked him up as kind of like a scary little third type situation. I'm playing him from now on. Like Zeke, I don't know why they brought back Zeke. And yeah, Sean's right. Nicole is loving this. So's Chewy. Chewy really enjoyed that game too. So
Yeah, because Chewy got some of them there crawfish after they who dadded them there Cowboys. That's what happened. They got who dadded so hard that about half a bushel of them there crawdads just flew up in the air, came down in Chicago right over your apartment. That's why he was licking at the window last night.
oh, when I was at the bar watching my game, I looked at a bunch of people and I was like, "Oh, tell me again why you guys didn't want Derek Carr to come to the Denver. Can you please tell me again?"
Yeah. Now here's the thing, and not only was that a big surprise loss, we also got a good look at somebody who, I mean, it might have just been a flash in the pan in that game, but somebody who readily could, if they continue in the same trend, be comeback player of the year. Alvin Kamara,
Yep.
115 rushing yards, 115 rushing yards, 65 yards passing, four touchdowns. He accounted for 180 yards of total offense against
Yes.
them boys. One man covered 180 yards against them boys. Sean said the Cowboys can't even stop shooting. Oh man, hey,
Oh,
look. Why you want to listen? I don't know if you want to continue, if you want to get back into the winning tradition, Jared. That you want to mention your boys in the same sentence with the Gators, who might be looking for a new coach in less than 14 days. Just saying, go dogs. Anyway, sorry, I had to slide that in there. But that was an absolute no. I don't think anybody was expecting
no, no one was.
no, I don't think that. Maybe that the Cowboys would have lost, but not lost in that kind of fashion. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, also, I think a lot of people thought that the week before the Saints winning the way they did was a little bit of a fluke and just the situation that they were playing in. I don't know. You might have to keep an eye on the Saints. Nicole's team might actually be, they might be doing pretty good. So, yep, there you go.
Oh, wait, you're an FSU fan? Who I am so sorry. For those of you that are lost that don't follow college football at all, Florida State University, the Seminoles of Florida State went 13-0, undefeated last year, did not make the college football playoffs, got Gator rolled in the Peach Bowl by some team. I don't. What team was that again? What team was that again that beat them in the game in the whatever bowl that was? Man, do you know? Anyway, they
Let me
got
guess,
beat
they
by
were short and squat and barked a lot.
yeah, they were beat by some team, and then they started the season out with three straight losses. So not a good time right now in Tallahassee, but I'm pretty sure the Seminoles will get it together at some point. Thoughts and prayers, Jared. Thoughts and prayers, bro. Keep your head up. Oh, that was the wrong hand. That's the commander's hand. Keep your head up. Power to the people. I'm sorry I started a fight in the middle of your Panther party. Okay, we're gonna keep this thing. We're gonna keep this thing. Moving on along. Hey, y'all. Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, the comedy edition. I am Anthony. That is Tina. And we are, wow, it's been a
We are
crazy
your
day.
hosts today.
It's been an absolutely crazy day. So, what we're going to get into next is we're just going to kind of talk about our teams. And Tina, um,
Um,
I'll let you go ahead and start.
well, first of all, I think my caption this week says it all. To me, yeah, horrible loss to the Steelers, 13-7. I'm sorry, 13-6. We didn't even score a touchdown. It was 2 field goals. Um, I don't know what's going on with this team. I can't figure it out. Defense is decent. Special teams is pretty good. Our offense is almost non-existent. Our running backs can't seem to get past. And I don't know why the coaches keep calling for these behind the scrimmage crap and we're behind. And oh, it's just so bad. And
Well,
then of
what is,
course it was we were making a run toward in the fourth quarter until an interception happened. And yes, Russell Wilson is just collecting that check in at the Steelers right now. So I'm watching young Mr. Fields play and stuff. So rebuild. That's all I have to keep reminding myself is rebuilding. We are rebuilding, rebuilding,
well,
rebuilding, rebuilding. So we had so many problems. It's just, but I do think our offensive calling right now is so pedantic and rudimentary and
oh,
so
wow.
simple that
But
any team could play us well right now.
hold that thought. I don't mean to pause you because you want to roll, but for those of you that have never watched this show before, anytime Tina starts using 3 and 4 syllable words, she's really pissed off with her team. So I'm just letting you know when she digs deep in the back of the dictionary, like back in the back where all the words have collected dust, because it's only 3 people that use them, except for people that go on TikTok and use words like very demure, very respectful. Um,
Hate
but
that
that
thing.
yeah, she's yeah. So please
Like,
continue.
I mean, it's stupid. It's like Sean Payton brought in, I think it's Joe Lombardi is who he brought in from the Saints and everything to be the offensive coordinator. And this was supposed to solve everything because this is Joe's guy. Well, Sean's gotten his guy. He's gotten his quarterback. He's got his wide receivers. He's got his running backs, and he ain't doing shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Seahawks and Steelers have very good defenses, but those games were too damn close for us to be to losing, and I'm I'm so irritated. I'm so irritated to
So
the
do
point where I can't even watch a 45-minute analysis of Bo Nix by Tim Jenkins because I'm afraid to throw my freaking
well, do you
TV
think
out the window.
do you think it well what do you think the main problem is there? Do you think that I mean you got Sean Payton who
They're playing it too
I
safe.
mean who before he came back could have on his career at New Orleans alone be considered a legendary, maybe a second tier legendary coach with what he did with the Saints, and especially at rising back from Katrina and the Super Bowl win and the whole rise of the Who Dat and all of that. Do you think it's the coaching, or do you think it's maybe the players just aren't with it? I do realize there was some degree of some discipline problems there
Oh,
on both sides of the ball by both teams when you got 202 yards total yards worth of penalties. But what do you think the main problem is there in Bronco land?
I think they're playing it too safe. Every time Bo Nix is given a little bit more leash, but they allow him to either run a little bit or do something like this, he makes big plays, and something's going on. Now, I think because he threw the interception, they yanked that leash right back off of him because um, he threw an interception. So I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's morale or what's going on. I'm just um, something's going on. There's a problem there. My other thing is, and I think this is a very valid thing, is I'm beginning to wonder if Sean Payton's been riding the coattails of Drew Brees. He had a Pro Bowl
He did.
caliber QB like that does not come along very well. And I consider Drew to be up there with like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and those guys where they don't really need to be coached a lot. They understand the game so well in their head. But for some reason, it's just there's other issues that I could talk for hours about why I think our team is where we're at. There's some stuff that came through when Pat Bolin had Alzheimer's and they brought the trust in and lots of financial issues that the Wilson situation just compounded. So we're rebuilding. So yeah, I wish we would, but as I was alluding to earlier when I said Sean got his guy, he wants his guys. That's it. All right, Sean, you got your guys. You got to start to get your guys the year before. Now you got your guys now. Now you need to start showing something. But it's definitely going to be a rebuilding year. So
Yeah.
that's my little
Well,
semi
all was
rant.
all was not completely lost, though.
Oh,
There was a slight moment of amusement after the game during the press conference when reporters have this tendency to just want to ask these questions, and sometimes the questions just don't make any doggone sense, or actually, they're just dumb. They're dumb on their own face because of the fact that the answer is extremely obvious. And yeah, so Bo decided to let that reporter know just how obvious the answer was to his dumb question. So check this out.
Yeah. Chop back, do it to the other team.
Yeah, that pretty much
that's it, guys. That's it. Nothing else.
that pretty much
I
sums it
love
up
that.
right there. I dropped back and threw it. What happened? You didn't see it? I said hike. The man gave me the ball. I backed up. I looked right. I looked left. I looked right again. I thought the ball needed to go to the right. I did not see the defender coming out of the corner of my eye, streaking by me like a combination of Tyreek Hill, Arch Manning, and Usain Bolt. So when I let the ball go, he caught it. That's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it was just funny because he was just like, I'm not going to talk anything. I'm not going to say anything more about it. It happened. Like,
Yeah, that it did. We got a question in the comments that I'm going to get to. Don't go anywhere, Tabby Melvin. I'm going to answer your question because we're moving on to the next game since
there
we're
we go.
recapping our teams. The surprise win of the week. Sean Spencer, if you're still watching, I still think my Falcons are trash. See, watch this. Watch this. You know how trash my Falcons are? Watch this. ATL, ho. ATL, ho. Rise up. Rise up. That's how trash my Falcons are. But I'm happy. I was happy. I wasn't completely happy with the entire performance. I did not get to watch the game in real time because I was live doing the show last night, but I was watching the score as it was flipping over. And I got to go back. I did get to catch the game-winning drive. The Falcons pull off a win over the Eagles, 22-1. And Kirk Cousins looked in that drive amazing. Almost surgical, like Denzel Washington said in training day. I'm surgical with this, Jake. I'm surgical with it. How you want it? You want to pass? You want to pass on the sidelines right there, fade out? I got you. I mean, he was just putting the ball where the receivers could catch it. Boom, out of bounds. Boom, out of bounds. I'm like, does he know his foot hurt? He don't even act like his foot hurt. He played
I'm sure it did.
I mean, I'm sure it did. I'm sure he
His foot was
I'm
in
sure
like water and ice up past
yeah.
his knee.
I'm
Like
pretty sure
5
he
seconds.
did not like that at all.
No.
But I mean, it looked like for a minute, that right there was the team that everybody has told me, hey, have a little faith, your Falcons might be good this year. That's right there what I saw. I was like, okay, I kind of like this. Now I didn't do the gritty because I think the gritty is now like 3 years out of style, and like I said, bad hip, bad knees. But um, yeah, he looked really great. I'm glad the Falcons won. The Falcons are now 1-1. They're kind of chasing behind the Saints and the Buccaneers, who are currently uh, doing far better. Well, I won't say far better. We're only a couple of weeks into the season, but still, they're chasing behind the Saints and the Buccaneers. But I was really impressed with that overall. I'm going to have to go back and catch the recap because just the fact that the Falcons were able. Well, no, I'm not surprised by that because even at their worst, the Falcons have for several seasons been able to maintain and stay in a game with their opponents and somehow figure out a way to lose. But yesterday, they figured out a way to win. Who
Mhm.
knows? Maybe Raheem went and watched Kirby coach the dogs and said, okay, if they can win, then we can win. You know? So
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
where
know.
you also
To
kind of
answer
said
that,
like
go
Kirk
ahead.
has been injured. It might be getting to the point where the injury he's recovering, the injury is getting better, so he can play better, he can play longer, etc. And then I was going to bring up this part of it because that's what I was seeing all over social media was the
Oh yeah.
end to the game.
Raheem was in that referee's face, and I never did find out why.
Yeah,
I said, Morris was in that ref's face, and I have no idea why. I just saw him. He was in that ref's ear. Like I don't know what happened. Oh, well, you know what? I don't understand why he was mad at the ref because the ref threw a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, Drake London with the touchdown celebration, and depending on what angle you look at it, either he was throwing out money or popping off rounds, one of the two. Either way, they threw an unsportsmanlike conduct, but it didn't cost them any points. Nor did it didn't cost them any points. They just moved the point after further back.
right.
So Falcons in the playoff
I
hunt
mean,
every year.
nobody
We're
really.
playoff. We wasn't in, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tina. Say what you were going to say, then I'll respond
I
to
was
Sean.
going to say, like, we don't see that call that much anymore because the players are told not to do it too much because it was getting called left and right no matter what you did. And now that you don't see it that often. So I was a little surprised at it, but as I was saying to some people, because when you were talking earlier about the number of penalties we had and everything, there was a defensive pass interference that was called on my buddy Mr. PS2, and it was beyond 5 yards. He didn't grab anybody. The ball really wasn't there, et cetera, et cetera. And people in the bar were really ticked off about it. And I was like, guys, they're going to call it. It doesn't matter anymore about all that extra stuff. They're going to call the DPI. We know it. It's going to happen. You just can't be that close. So it's one of those that you're going to get it called. So big deal over a questionable call. Yeah, it's but well, that's the thing. That's the reason why, like when I do corner office, I stay away from a lot of these crazy, like questionable penalty calls because that's like a hot potato with a grenade in it.
Right, but and well, let me offer an opposing school of thought on that. Yeah, maybe it's something they don't call as often because they've been told not to do it. But at the end of the day, if it's still in the books as a penalty, that official can still call it as a
Hmm.
penalty.
Yeah,
So is it better to do it and then go, oh man, I've seen 99 other players do it this week, so I'm going to do it too. Why'd I get called out? Because it's still a penalty. So
right. And
that's just
you
my
may have
opposing
done
school of thought.
something that was so egregious or put you in that level that ref said, I'm calling this. I don't know, like what you said, it could have either been one or the other. So they had to make sure that it never happened again. I mean, case in point is also like Tyreek Hill last year when he took the picture with the guy's camera or whatever. They didn't want that happening again. So it's going to get called. It's just one of those things. Yeah. Yeah. So if
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Sean. I saw they showed it from a couple angles. From one angle, it looked like he was tossing money, and then from the other angle, it definitely looked like, you know what I mean. So I get it. I
I think that's
100,
why it was called.
yeah, I
Yeah.
100% get it. Yeah,
Okay.
but then you know what though? But then you know what though? If that is a penalty, and if you know it's a penalty on the books that can be called, and you perform an act that could be flagged as a penalty, and you get flagged for it, and that flag costs you the game, is it on the ref for calling the penalty that's on the books, or is it on the player for executing the penalty?
It's on the player, in my opinion. Because you know it. When you are in that situation and you need those points or you need that extra kick or whatever it is, and you do something stupid to create a penalty, then yeah, it's on the player. The players know the rules just as much as the refs do. And just because it hasn't been called in a long time doesn't mean it can't be. And if you try and blame the ref later because you did something stupid, that's just that you're trying to push the blame off to somebody else.
Yep.
And it's just wrong. Fess up to it, own up to it, say, yeah, you know what, I shouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. You know, and that was the biggest thing about it was he
Yeah.
literally was almost shoulder to shoulder with the referee when he did it.
Right.
So I get that. And if that's what Raheem was mad about at that point, then okay, I get as the coach, he's gonna argue his point. But I sincerely hope he also went over and pulled old boy to the side and said, what in the
Don't ever do that
yeah,
again.
don't ever do that again. Like if that
And
was Kirby,
I'm sure
if
his
that was
language
Kirby,
were a little more forceful than what we said.
yeah, if that
Yeah,
had been
like,
Kirby Smart at a Georgia game, you probably would have picked up Kirby cussing him out on on the
yeah.
satellite mics. So
Yep.
yeah, but go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hey, look, Dirty Birds. Hey, for once, I'm not ashamed to talk about you this week. I like this. I like this, Anthony. I like Happy with the Falcons, Anthony. I'm actually wearing my special edition 06 for the frat jersey that I had made. They messed up the back. So I would show you the back. It's supposed to say Frozen Falcon, and they changed the F into a T, so it's Frozen Falcon. So anyway, but that's okay. I can just wear it and say it's my Shannon Sharp jersey. Yeah, it's the Frozen Falcon. That's what it is.
Go
That's
shake
what it
shake.
is. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So what's going to happen right now is we're going to skip. See what I did there? To a short break, and we will be right back with more of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. Y'all stay tight. Don't go anywhere. Now, see, here we go. I done lost the doggone thing again. Hang on 1 minute. All right. There we go. And here we go. We'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and gents. It's Anton, your local awesome artist. Just here to let you know it's summertime. Projects need to get done. Are you being lazy on them? So if you got indoor projects, outdoor projects, like this pergola here, just got painted. Call me, I'll have your job done. See you later.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Did you miss us? We've been having a great time this evening. Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. I am Anthony, and all of my multiple personalities down there. This beautiful lady over here, all the way from the Windy City, is my co-host this evening, Miss Tina Winter. We are one half. Hey, Sean, we can say we're one half of that dynamic quartet. We're one half of that dynamic quartet. Nick and Delilah are not with us this evening. They will be back next week. We do appreciate those of you that have tuned in and have been lighting up the comments. We do appreciate that, giving us food for thought and to interact with. As always, one of the founders of Let's Talk Football, Mr. Sean Spencer. All sorts of up in the comments and loving it. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for stopping through. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to our next segment where Miss Tina has taken a topic that she's going to share with us today. And we like to call that one the Corner Office.
All right, guys. There wasn't like a whole lot going on legal wise or anything this week, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna start doing what I do in the corner office. For those of you that are new to this show, I call it the corner office because I do love myself a lot of cornerbacks. I love those guys. Um, so this week, two people tied for number one in the league in terms of cornerbacks and safeties. And the number one was Jamarcus Ingram from Buffalo. He had 3 passes deflected and he had 2 interceptions. So he ties with Xavier McKinney of Green Bay, who had 2 passes deflected and 2 interceptions over 2 games. So number 3 was a whole list of people. Like if you go and you look at your stats and everything, it's all in there. So we have a bunch of safeties. And this week I decided to include a couple of linebackers. And when we get to the linebackers, you'll understand why. Coming in, it's technically third. They're all third. But in third place was Harrison Smith of Minnesota. He had 2 passes deflected and an interception in the game. Tyrann Mathieu in for New Orleans. So Nicole, your guy made the list. He had 2 passes deflected and 1 interception also. Now, the last 2 people in the list, I said they were linebackers. Don't normally include them because they're not part of the secondary. But one of them was Eric McKendricks from Dallas. And he had 1 pass deflected and 1 interception. And the last one, because after the games I've had over the last 2 weeks, I just need a crumb. Just a crumb of good things in my life. Alex Singleton of the Denver Broncos, of their linebacking crew, he also has 1 pass deflected and 1 interception in the game. So those are the top corners. And that's the corner office. I will look, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I will look into and see if there's maybe a clause somewhere that they might be able to use for Tua. And I do this all the time. If you guys have any ideas or something that you hear about, you hear something that may be a little bit more legal minded or might be more like back end kind of stuff, IM me or send me something on Let's Talk Football and I'll look into it and get it on. Except for, like I said, I don't really get into the controversial calls. But for instance, if you want to know why a call was this or that, or why it might be considered personal versus not, that I will look into. That I can do. That I'll do. But I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty because when we're talking about refs, it's subjective and it really can be down to the various crews you have right in front of you. All right, that's corner office. Taking it back to my friend Handy.
That, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tina Winter with the corner office. Thank you very much, Tina. So, hey, this, I don't remember how it is that Nick likes to say it. So I'm just going to get right into it. It's time for another solo segment. Yours truly with this week's Rookie Spotlight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello again. I keep asking everybody how they're doing. You guys have been hanging with us for a while, so you already know what it is. We're here. We're doing the roundtable this week. It is time for this week's Rookie Spotlight. This week's rookie comes to us by way, comes to us by way of San Bernardino, California. I'm not gonna rattle off all of the platitudes. Just suffice to say, he was a 2-3 sports star out of California. He wound up leaving high school and set records for 211 touchdowns and
You
170 of
over
those were
there?
passing. What's that?
I said, you okay over there?
Who, me? I'm good.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. Sorry.
What did I
Continue.
miss?
Well, no, you were just kind of and a few things. So I was wondering if you were choking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Hold on just a minute. I just need a little more coffee.
Didn't mean to stop your flow going on there, dude.
Oh, man. So he wound up finishing his high school career with 211 touchdowns, 170 of those for passing, and 17,642 career yards. I thought Bo Nix was doing something last week. This kid like totally eclipsed that. He wound up, excuse me, there I go again. See, Tina, you had to point that out now. I got the tickle in the back of the throat. He wound up going to Arizona State. He was the first freshman quarterback to start on the opening week. Wound up playing in Arizona State for 3 seasons. During the pandemic, they only played 4 games that season. During that season, we all know what happened. He hit the transfer portal and made his way down south. You know, we was just talking about down south where for true they put you down there. That's what happened when you get, you wind up in the etouffee down there. He wound up at LSU. The rest, as we know, is history. There's a very famous picture of him in the SEC championship being hoisted by, I do believe it's by Big Baby, just picked him up and held him up during that last play of the game because he's playing on his hurt leg. But he comes back the following year, the 2023 season, and taking home the Heisman Trophy. And of course, you know what happened after that? He gets drafted, second pick in the draft. By whom? Oh, I don't know. What team was he drafted by? Is there anybody in the comments to know what team this boy was drafted by? Anybody want to raise their left hand and tell me what team this young man was drafted by? Anybody? Bueller. He was drafted by he was drafted by the Washington Commanders. He is currently the starting quarterback. His right now, as of his week 2 stats, 53 passing attempts, 40 completions on 53 attempts. He has a 75.5. Sorry, Sean. Don't come for me. I know I came for you in the comments. It's 75.5 completion average. No touchdowns as of yet, but he's got a total of 410 passing yards with a 97.2 passer rating. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns and 132 yards. Now, I'm going to say this. One of the things about Jaden is Jaden can get you with his arm and with his legs. I would say that he kind of reminds me of, I want to say, I don't want to say it, but I kind of have to say it. He reminds me of RG3, and I think he's a very dynamic player. He did, when put it like this, when he left LSU, and Joe left LSU after his Heisman season, people were worried about, who's going to be able to step up and assume the mantle. Because while they liked Nussmeier, he was a little bit of a gunslinger. Nussmeier's still there now. Actually, he's a starting quarterback. He's a bit of a gunslinger. He needed a little time to develop. But Daniel stepped up to not only be very competent, he led the Tigers to the SEC championship that year. They fell short, of course, because George. Who won that championship that year? Oh, okay. I got to get it in wherever I can get it in. But I think he's going to be a great addition for Washington as long and with the ownership and management group there in at Redskins Park in Ashburn. I think they're going to put something together for this kid that's going to be. I mean, they beat Granted it was the Giants, but they won. And that is something that Sean can attest to, that a lot of Commanders fans, did I say Redskins Park? Commanders Park, I'm sorry. That is something that Commanders fans have grown used to, unfortunately, much like Falcons fans, early season losses to teams they have no business losing to. And they have a kicker. They got a kicker Sean, why don't you go ahead and tell the good people how many field goals this young man kicked for the Commanders this past Sunday in that victory? His name is Austin. Austin.
Seabird.
Austin
I think
Seabird.
is how you say it. Seabird.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This week's Rookie of the Week, Jaden Daniels of LSU, starting quarterback for the left-hand Washington Commanders. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Please tip your service on the way out.
Well, I think one of the reasons why he's also having a really good season is the Redskins have been able to get the running game going. They've been able to protect him behind the offensive line and get the running game going.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you can do that, then your younger quarterback is going to have the ability to be able to grow in that position. It's the thing that I think is we are lacking in our game, and I think also lacked in the Bears game. There was other issues in the Bears game too, but if your offensive line can't get that running game going, your rookie is going to be having to make a lot of decisions on the fly. And 2 games into your rookie season is not when you need to be able to read every defense you've never seen. So, yeah. Yep. You limit your rookie from making mistakes. Exactly, Sean. The Commanders have got so far they have the formula with Jaden.
Yep,
It's impressive to see.
Gotta figure out a way to get in the end zone. I agree with that 100%. 182%. Well, having said that, Miss Tina, I think we've done fairly well for the two of us just being here by ourselves. They kind of left us unsupervised this week. But we didn't burn the house. Hey, Nick and Delilah, we didn't burn the house down Nick, we didn't burn the house down while you and Mom were gone to the movies. And we went to bed on time for curfew. So but having said that, we're up to one last thought. And you know what? This is the first week I really don't have anything in particular other than I really enjoyed doing this. I gotta say, when I met Sean, you've heard the story. I was somewhere all the way over here doing something completely different in the way of podcasting. I basically was the comic relief / bad impersonation guy for the show. And I met Sean, and they brought me on for the draft show, and now here I am. I'm a cast member, and I love doing this. This is like, don't get me wrong, I love my dog show too, but this is a little bit different because it's like each of us has our own specialty that makes us an integral part of the team, and even with it being the 3 of us before you came on board, it was like, when you came on board and we had those first couple of shows together and we were throwing barbs out there and you were throwing them right back, it was like, click, there's that piece. There's that piece. And now the circle is complete. So I really enjoyed doing this show, the Roundtable. It's great. I have a lot of fun. I get to be silly when I do my rookie. I just did this segment. I need to take myself some more Prevagen. When I do the Rookie of the Week segments and you guys get to laugh at me when I knock my food over. I haven't ordered any food this season, by the way, y'all. I'm doing good. I did knock my phone over, but I haven't ordered any food. So I really enjoyed doing this, and I am not kidding when I say I look eagerly forward. I can start taking PTO in December. I don't know what the travel situation is going to be like in December, but I'm looking eagerly forward when I can start taking PTO and I can hop a flight to the Windy City so that I can finally meet the 3 of y'all face to face and quite potentially have all 4 of us in the same room at the same time doing the show, which would be absolutely amazing.
Would be amazing. I also think you're going to step off the plane and want to get right back on because it's going to be cold.
If it's any colder, if anything is any colder than it was in Korea in the wintertime, because we were in the middle of a valley. The post I was on was like there were mountains all around, and the wind just it can't be much worse than that. Can't be.
Yeah, probably not. Okay, so for my last thought
Tina's like, okay, if you think so.
Well, if you were coming in January or if you were coming in February around my birthday, I'd be like, you need 2 coats. Your Oklahoma butt is going to be really cold because it gets really cold here.
You said
Especially
that
if
like
the
I'm gonna
wind.
have my Oklahoma butt hanging out the back of my pants when I get off the plane.
No, it's just going to be colder than you're used to. Come on. Especially when the jet stream comes down from Nicole's area up in Canada. Whenever that stuff comes down here, it's pretty cold here.
Well,
But
from what I saw yesterday, the Jets were pretty cold anyway. So, oh, I said that out loud, didn't I? RELAX. Shave your face. You look like you've been drinking mushrooms, man. Okay,
oh
I'm back.
god, don't get me started on that, man. My one last thought is, and I just have to say this because I'm still running high off of our win 2 weeks ago against Notre Dame. NIU jumped up to number 23 in the AP poll, and they didn't even play a game.
Very nice, very nice. Nice round of applause for the band.
Boston College and somebody else lost, so we jumped in front of them. like, yeah. Okay, those of you that have kind of seen or watched the college show, Big Mac fan over here, we play Buffalo this week. So it's going to be a big determining game for what's going to go on with NIU and Buffalo are considered to be in like the top 3 in the division. So I'm pretty pumped. If you guys have a chance to watch the game, hopefully it's not scary. I will be doing that on Saturday. And I'm going to be riding those are my Huskies. I will be in the sled behind them is all season long. So, yep, NIU's got to go. So that's my big thing, which was kind of funny because I was this weekend in Florida with somebody who was a Notre Dame fan and also a Cowboys fan. So he didn't have a good weekend. I know you will, Sean. I know you will. As I said last week when I had it on, don't sleep on the MAC, guys. A lot of people like to sleep on these lower tier teams, as some people would call them. I just call them smaller football programs. They can get you. And as I also said, we also got $1.4 million from Notre Dame. So I'm done. That's my one last thought. Handy's got the nice and sweet one. I'm just over here like, yeah.
Well, no, I'm not even gonna say I can get like that.
You don't want me to do the cackle again?
I really, oh God, y'all, listen. I know this is a pro show, okay? Wait a minute, I'm gonna play it for you. So after NIU beat Notre Dame, where is it? After NIU beat Notre Dame, I was out in the street. I was running errands. Tina and I were talking about the games back and forth. And Tina sent me so that would be Saturday of the week prior. So I got to go back a whole week. She sent me a voice message that had me absolutely peeing my pants in the parking lot.
I was a little excited, everyone. Let me just say that.
Where is it? Okay, that's from Sunday. You sent it to me on Saturday, right?
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Okay, was it the video or was it just an audio?
It was an audio.
Okay, I gotta
make sure if I can find it.
Make sure I get the right one because I don't want to play the one that we can't play on the air. Hold on.
Oh God, we should have that queued up.
Oh, there it is. I think I found it. Oh, wait, hold on.
Nope.
For the last minute of the game, like, oh my God, and I love the fact that our coach cried on national television when he got interviewed about the game. Just showed how much he loved this game. And the best part of this is our head coach played for NIU. So it's a source of love for him. God, it was awesome. And I could go, Notre Dame lost.
It was the cackle. It was the cackle at the end.
Couldn't hear the cackle real well. I was like, Notre Dame lost.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. You know what? moving forward, if we decide to play any audio clips, I will make sure I pull them before the show, and I'll put the little beeps on them so we don't, I know that we're on the internet, but we try and limit. Look, we like the FCC. We try and limit ourselves to like maybe one a show, and 99 out of 100 times it's her. But
Yeah.
but we do it. So I'll make sure I pull it. But that was so hilarious, y'all. I was in the parking lot. I couldn't see straight. My ribs hurt. That just to hear. Yeah. Anyway, having said all of that, ladies and gents, boys and girls, we appreciate you all for hanging on and watching the show, commenting, sharing. Nick and Delilah should be back next week. To the best of my knowledge, they will be back, and as will Tina and I. So, Tina, you got anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, guys, thanks for sticking with us, enjoying us, and yeah, go ahead, you.
I was going to say, if you want to sing it again, please, by all means, go ahead.
Nah.
Well, I have been Anthony Handy. This over here is Tina Winter. We have been one half of that incredible quartet. I gotta find an adjective that starts with a Q. With that incredible quartet, the
Roundtable.
My brain just went.
You're the professional. Come on.
No, my brain. Listen, I told you I've been up since 4 a.m. I'm now running on 12 to 12 and 5, 17 hours. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for watching Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. We will catch y'all next week. You guys be good. We'll see you then.